Welcome to the Bare Essentials, the entrepreneur's business survival tips. Business tips made simple for aspiring entrepreneurs and startups. And today's question is a good one because I believe it is a stumbling block for most startups and entrepreneurs because it's hard to get a great story built for your brand. And there's a lot of people out there that still do mission statements, and to me, mission statements are static. You know, they're things that you write on a piece of paper and you kind of hand it out to your people and they run with it. I think mission statements are a thing of the past. I do believe brand stories are replacing that because I do believe brand stories now are built from the inside and they go out. And I think that's important to understand because it's one thing to just list things out, but it's another thing to really live what your brand stands for. And at the end of the day, it's all it is a connection built on creative communication of who you are, obviously what you do, who you do it for, so your target market and the people that you're trying to communicate to, and why it matters to them. I mean, that's a huge point right there, because if it doesn't matter to anybody, they're not going to care, and we want them to care. But the story has to be uniquely yours in the way it's told, because that's going to be the difference between the other guy that has a similar product to yours and you outselling him and being able to really focus in on your market at a much deeper rate is how effectively you tell your story. And the little picture here that you see is a promotion that Gap had done in 2011, into 2012, and it was focused around their new denim collection called 1969. And Seth Barbman, the CMO, and he was a former Ogilvy executive, his whole focus for the brand was to share what's different and inventive about the Gap. And we want to start with our premium denim collection called 1969. And his target idea was he wanted to focus his customers so they could see who's behind the product and how their individual personalities and lifestyles influence what they offer around the stores around the world. And I think they did it pretty effectively because when you build a story, it's really an indirect way of talking about who you are without it being, that saying, like, if you give yourself credit, it's not really credit at all. It's when somebody else gives you credit, it's got a lot more validation and authenticity behind it. Well, telling this story, the way they set it up was kind of interesting because they built a studio in California around this whole 1969 denim line. And the objective was to allow people, almost like a reality show, allow the community to take a peek into kind of what goes on in building jeans and the people around it. So the story was this studio. But what they were able to communicate in a very engaging and interesting way was, hey, we're real people, just like you guys. We struggle, we have conflicts to get decisions made, just like most people do. But we want you to see what goes into making jeans. And as a result of you looking into that process that we do, it's going to automatically communicate that we are experts in our craft. And then once you understand that we're experts in our craft, and then you understand what inspires us, and we talk about what inspires us, hopefully that will be the critical moment that you remember our story the next time that you go into a Gap. Because more than likely, you're going to remember John, the designer, and Melissa, the denim wash person, and all the different things. And then obviously Lewis, the resident pit bull that roams around the office. You're going to remember all those little dynamics when you go into Gap next time. And it will probably be the difference in you going to the Gap or going to some other store. So this is how you should encapsulate what your brand is about. and you live it from the inside out. These guys are living it from the inside of their company. They're living and breathing this every day, and then they're really communicating this out to the marketplace. And this is a dynamic way to get your brand noticed and remembered, because what we're trying to do is keep an imprint, in memory of who we are, and what we do. Till next time, hope you enjoyed the Bare Essentials.